Hi guys, it's the Viking here, back with another video. Welcome to Movies That Matter. Now, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and Fear the Walking Dead made its return on Sunday night. Now, I will say I haven't caught up all the way on Fear. I kind of neglected it for a long time because I loved the main show, and Fear wasn't really being shown on the TV channels I have here. But since everything is connecting, got to do with the Walking Dead universe, there's so many spin-offs happening. World Beyond is connecting with the Rick movies. Fear is probably going to connect in some capacity to the Rick movies as well. Even the main show will. And there's so much happening right now. Everything is connected, and I feel like I have to watch everything in this Walking Dead universe for the overall story. So I currently am catching up on Fear the Walking Dead, but I said I'd check out the premiere because a lot of people are talking about the premiere of season 6, saying that it's a great episode. And I wanted to check it out because it's a standalone episode with Morgan, and I thought I wouldn't have to tie in or know much from the previous seasons to get this episode. Now, I will say Morgan Jones is one of my favourite Walking Dead characters. I was disappointed when he made the move from the main show over to Fear. Great character, we're going to lose him. He's one of the best characters, and he has probably been in one of the best episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Unbelievable. You know, if I was to make a top 10 episode of the Walking Dead, he would be in a lot of those episodes. The pilot, the Clear episode, the episode where the wolves attack and No Way Out, and the episode as well with Eastman. That standalone episode, absolutely brilliant. I love that episode so much. And I had high hopes for this episode because it was centered around Morgan Jones. Now, Fear gets a lot of controversy and a lot of hate because saying the showrunners, the writers, they don't know what they're doing. They're not able to conclude stories. They're not able to have payoff. It's a poorly run show. Some good episodes, some really bad episodes. But overall, the seasons and the show isn't that great. Now, The Walking Dead really hit its stride around season 5, season 6 for some of its greatest episodes and some of its greatest storytelling, especially on the back of season 4. So maybe it's taken a while for Fear the Walking Dead to catch up in that capacity of making great episodes. Now, let's get into the episode. The End is the Beginning. Interesting title, especially with The Walking Dead main show ending, but we find out later on that the full title is The End is the Beginning. At the start, we only see a guy write graffiti, the end, and then the episode starts. Now, it opens with the headhunter. He's having his beans, he's there by the fire, and a guy called Walter runs in, very scared, into the area, and he goes, there's somebody chasing me for miles, I don't know who it is, I can't see. And the two of them start to have a conversation, and the bounty hunter, the headhunter, takes his head off. He absolutely, I don't know what kind of a weapon it is, but he just absolutely cleans his head off. He puts his head in a box, his name was written on it, Walter. He was the person who was chasing him. So he's a bounty hunter in the zombie apocalypse world. He collects bounties, and in return, he probably gets food, maybe bullets, stuff like that. I don't know exactly what he gets in return, but he gets stuff. It must be good enough for him to be a bounty hunter in the zombie apocalypse. Maybe he just likes killing people. But Virginia, at the end of season 5, shot Morgan in kind of the chest, shoulder area and left Morgan for dead. Morgan got away. Morgan was then trying to survive on his own, away from people. You know, Morgan has gone through such an emotional roller coaster in terms of being a killer, of not trying to kill, of being a killer, and then back now to not killing people, just trying to save people. But he's kind of in a time now where he's just fed up. He wants to walk place from place and just kind of see out his existence. You know, he's probably not able to actually kill himself, but he just wants to be left alone. And the bounty hunter is hired by Virginia to find a man called Morgan Jones. And the bounty hunter goes dead or alive. So that shows that he not only hunts at people who are alive, he also hunts down walkers. You know, and initially he didn't want to take the job because he had to finish the job that he was doing right now with the guy called Walter and deliver his head to the people who put the bounty on him. But also, they want the key that Walter had. And what does that key open, or what's that key lead to? We don't know. Now, this episode is what The Walking Dead should be. Tense, impactful, an interesting, engaging story. Now, the story for this episode is actually quite simple. There's not an overall thing going on. You know, it has its story, but it's not trying to overcomplicate things. Morgan, in this episode, is immune to walkers, and that's the moment for me that was like, what's actually happening here? But from the bullet that Morgan has, he has not taken out, and he's starting to kind of die a little bit, and he has that walker smell. So walkers, when they come across him, they just think he's another walker, and this makes him invisible to the dead. Kind of like the Whispers in the main show and what happened with them, but he can do as he please, and he even has bloodshot eyes. So many people are speculating what exactly is going on with Morgan, especially from the trailers, but we got to find out in this episode that he's kind of more or less dying and is going to get infected. He has gangrene, it's going to get worse, but the walkers can't really tell. Morgan is battered, he's bruised. When he comes against walkers, he is barely able to fight them. He has one arm, of course he has his spear, and he tries to take them down that way. But he meets a man called Isaac, who seems like an okay guy. And Isaac has a story where he is trying to get supplies to his wife who is pregnant. And Morgan doesn't want to help. He wants to be left alone. He doesn't need help. But he's in this kind of town and he's trying to overcome these walkers and he kind of falls down. The walkers, looks like they're going to go over and bite Morgan, but they think he's another walker. Isaac comes in, he's taken out 3 or 4 of them. He's about to go over and kill Morgan, but then Morgan says, no, I'm alive. And the two of them go into this kind of shop, and they're like, Morgan doesn't want to connect with anyone. He just wants to be left alone, but Isaac is trying his best to connect with Morgan. He kind of knows who Morgan is, and Morgan doesn't really know who he is. Now, we later find out that Isaac was a part of Virginia's group. He was a ranger. He went away, him and his wife, didn't want to be a part of that life anymore, but he knew who Morgan was. And the reason that he wanted Morgan to go back and help him get to his wife so badly was because Isaac was actually bitten himself. And he had no way of getting in and giving the supplies that his wife needs to give birth. Now, this bounty hunter he meets Isaac. He's like, do you know this man? Have you seen this man? And Isaac's like, no, but Morgan is hiding in the shop. The bounty hunter goes into the shop. Morgan is obviously gone at this point. And it just shows you that this bounty hunter won't just kill anybody. He kind of has a moral compass to himself. He'll only kill the people he was hired to kill. So Isaac is obviously left alive. He finds Morgan. They go to this kind of water tower, which Morgan was originally in. Morgan doesn't know how he got to the water tower originally. When he was shot, when he was dying, left for dead, somebody, and Morgan doesn't know who it is. Maybe it was Sherry, maybe it was Dwight. I don't know exactly who it was, but they put him in this water tower, and he later got a note or a message later on in the episode says, you don't know who I am, I don't know who you are, so, and that kind of message is telling him to go on and live his life. He has more to do with himself. So maybe it was Sherry, and that's going to be interesting to see her return in the show. Maybe she'll get to meet up with Dwight. But they go to the water tower. You got Isaac, you got Morgan in the water tower. Morgan is very wary at this stage of Isaac. He doesn't want to help. He's trying to get him to go. He even gives him a gun. Just get out of here. Leave me alone. But the bounty hunter has found them. He knocks down the water tower and he tries to kill both men. Morgan gets away. He shoots him in the arm. He doesn't want to kill him because that's not what he does anymore. And they get away and they go. They go to this kind of dam area where there's no water anymore. And there is maybe hundreds of walkers, or at least 50 or 60 walkers. And Morgan's mission is to go through the walkers because he is immune, because he cannot be noticed. But eventually Morgan can't get all the way through. He falls down, the walkers noticed, and Isaac and him both have to fight their way out of this herd of walkers, which was a pretty cool scene, actually pretty tense. And this is what some of the walker scenes are missing. We don't really get this feeling that anybody could die. In this episode, in this scene, you could get moments like, is Morgan going to die here? Isaac could die as well. And it was intense, and it was very claustrophobic and really well done. But they overcome it. They get to go to the wife, they get to give her the supplies, she's ready to give birth, but all is not what it seems. The bounty hunter, the head hunter, has found them. And there's a great showdown. Morgan is like, look, Isaac, you can go, you can find my friends, you can bring them here, they can stay here and you can tell them everything. I will deal with the headhunter. He's not here for you, he's not here for your wife. I will sacrifice myself so you can live and you can save my friends, and even refers to them as his family, which was lovely. Morgan goes out, he gets on his knees for the bounty hunter. He makes a deal. Let those people live. Just take me. I'm who you want. He gets on his knees. Morgan is ready. He is ready to die. He closes his eyes. He's ready to take it and move on and end this misery that he's always been in. But Isaac sacrifices himself to an extent to save Morgan. And the reason, of course, is because Isaac reveals to Morgan that he was bitten and he can't go on. It's Morgan's mission to save his family. It looks like the bounty hunter is about to kill Morgan. But Morgan is able to put a stick up there and defend himself, and then later stab the headhunter in the exact same position that Morgan was shot in by Virginia. Then the bounty hunter says to Morgan, "You couldn't do it then, which is kill him. You can't do it now." And Morgan just slices his head off. Absolutely a brilliant episode. Really well done. Even the cinematography, the score, the tense moments, all brilliantly done in this episode. I was really blown away, and I was actually surprised. And I'm like, is this the same people who give Fear a lot of hate? Who say that the showrunners don't know what they're doing, they can't tell impactful stories? I'm like, this is one of the greatest Walking Dead universe episodes I have ever seen. I absolutely loved it. I did. After the headhunter is dead, Morgan has a new lease of life. He has a new kind of freedom about himself. He has to save his family. He leaves, which was brilliant, he leaves kind of walkers on top of each other across the road, blocking Virginia and her rangers. She gets out. There's a box there that says Morgan Jones. She obviously thinks the bounty hunter has succeeded, killed Morgan, and his head is in the box. She opens it up, and who is it? It's the bounty hunter. It's the headhunter. Absolutely brilliant. Then Virginia threatens Morgan over the walkie-talkie. And she says to him, look, they just have to think you're dead. But if you anyway make any contact with them, I will kill them as well. Do you copy? She walks away. The score kicks in. Morgan's like, Morgan Jones is dead. Unbelievable. Then we get to see Morgan from afar, riding on a horse, and he's wearing the headhunter's gear with the axe as his new weapon. Unbelievable episode. I really enjoyed it. Some people are saying this episode was only good to people because the Walking Dead episodes have been poor. I disagree. The Walking Dead season 9, season 10 episodes have been absolutely brilliant. Angela Kine's done an amazing job. But this episode here, I loved it. I loved it more than the finale of Walking Dead. I really did. And the fight scene between Isaac, Morgan, and the headhunter, brilliant as well. One of the best fight scenes you see, and some great Walker moments in this scene as well. In this episode, I should say, some tense moments where like anything could happen here. Really well done, and I'm looking forward to the rest of season 6 of Fear. There's so much potential that this could be an unbelievable season. But Lenny James, who plays Morgan, is an unbelievable actor, and he's actually directing the next episode. But I think this can't work for every single actor because Lenny James is one of a kind. He's a brilliant actor. So maybe the other actors on the show don't have the capabilities of acting range that he does, where they can carry a complete episode on their own. If you just had a complete season with Morgan Jones, I think it would be actually brilliant. I think it would. Even if some of the writing, even if some of the dialogue, even some of the story was poor, I think Morgan Jones, Lenny James, would save the season and the episodes all by himself, much like Andrew Lincoln, because of their unbelievable acting range and how much persona they have on screen, how much badassery they have, and then audiences really like those characters as well. But this episode, for me, the dialogue was very good. The story was very simple, but it was played off to a T. And I want to give great props to the director and the showrunner and the writers for this episode because absolutely it's brilliant. Now, they did say that this season is going to be more of an anthology season where we follow different actors each episode. Now, I do have some gripes with that because The Walking Dead tried to do that in season 7 and season 8. And for me, that didn't work. It doesn't work because not every character is strong enough to carry their own episode. Not every actor is strong enough to carry their own episode. It only works for certain characters. The likes of Daryl, the likes of Negan, the likes of Rick, the likes of Samantha Morgan, even playing Alpha. It works for those kind of actors and those characters. Morgan Jones is one of those. But with other actors, I don't know if it can work as much. But if the writing, if the dialogue, if the story is as good in this episode as it is in the other Fear the Walking Dead episodes, even without Lenny James, then I think we're in for something special. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this episode of Fear the Walking Dead. The end is the beginning. And I also should say that the ending scene wasn't Morgan Jones riding off on a horse. It was that scene where we got to see at the very start with the guy graffitiing what we thought maybe was a wall or a car or something like that. And it comes out and the guys are saying he should be here by now. We need that key. And it's a submarine in the middle of nowhere with no water. What the hell was that about? So all some very interesting mysteries and things going forward. What's the story with the submarine? What's the story with the key? What's the story with Virginia's group? Who saved Morgan? What's Morgan going to do next? How is he going to save his family? It sets it up for a great season. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. The Walking Dead's not back until February. They started shooting today. So this will tie me over till then, and World Beyond as well. And I'll do a review of episode 2 of World Beyond 2. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this episode. What did you think of the Morgan Jones standalone episode? I loved it. I really did. Watched it twice. Fell in love with this episode. Some great score as well. Because let me know. Give a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want more Walking Dead content, make sure you subscribe and come back to the channel. I'll have plenty for you guys. Okay guys, see you next time.